Well, hello, hello, hello. Um, I am always wondering. So that's where the name comes from. So this morning, I decided I wanted to talk about what's going on in the world, and I mean in the world as in the whole BRICS, the U.S. dollar. Um, this whole situation is going down. So I'm not going to keep you here for a long time, but I do want to thank my follower over there in Tik Twitch. Thank you for streaming. You're over there by yourself. I appreciate it. Oh, and you're a subscriber. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Um, you know what? Give me one more second. Hold on. You know, when you get to that age, I remember when I was younger, my mom's husband, um, he used to listen to jazz a lot. And I remember I used to hate it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, where are the words? There ain't no words, right? Because you're young, you don't know no better. Anyway, I really appreciate I really appreciate jazz now because sometimes I just don't want to hear the words. I really don't, because sometimes the words have literally no meaning at all. It's just a whole bunch of absolute nothing. So sometimes it's just better to just not even have the words, you know. But anyway, yeah. So I was minding my business, wandering around the internet, and I saw that a lot of countries a lot of countries are going towards, um, doing things that are not aligning with the typical U.S. value, which is to conquer and destroy. I'm just kidding, just kidding. But I would love to get different opinions on how do you feel about what's going on in the world right now as far as with, the BRICS coming together. It was said that it was 71 countries that have come together to, just empower their currency as well as devalue the American dollar. Now, I will say this: I don't know how I really, really feel about this because you have, different perspectives, right? Like one, a country getting, as the proverbial was once, you know, get yourself up by your bootstraps, right? So if a country is deciding that to, um, they want to get it together by their bootstraps, then who are we to tell them that they can't? Who are we to tell them that they can't? So if a country wants to take control of their gold or their diamonds or their minerals, whatever they have, you know what I'm saying? That's their right to do it. So I'm not knocking that. However, I will, just say that I am concerned because, I have things, well, you don't know, but I mean, I have investments, and a lot of people have investments, just middle class working people who, um, we did our best to invest our money and, try to set ourselves up for somewhat of a good future, I guess, because life isn't promised or whatever. But I ran across some stuff that I would love to share. Some of you guys, if you're keeping up with like current policies and current events around the world, outside of um, what's put on your local news, but like watching like not watching regular, but like watching different types of news outlets so you could get like a different perspective on other things that's going on in the world so that you're not so necessarily confined to just the American idea or the American point of view or perspective because that's not always correct. So, it's kind of like I always tell my cousins or my nieces, nephews, travel, go outside the country because you want to get a different perspective. Because if you're always in one place, then you will see it just from that point of view. And then you have these different talking heads telling you things, and it's kind of shaping your idea. But it's just great to get out there and actually go and visit people and see what other places and what other people are experiencing in their life. But I do what I mean, I do want to show you guys a couple videos that I've seen that you know, that's just things that just are concerning, and I think people should pay more attention to. Um, that's on you if you want to or not, but I care. I care. Let me turn this DJ, turn the music down a little bit. Goodness gracious, it's hard to pick a good health these days. You know. So let me go ahead on, and I'm gonna pull up. I think the first video that I want to show you guys. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go to the one where the bricks they have come together. So take a look at this, and um, I'll be back.
So the economy could be at a tipping point. For the first time since the pandemic, there are more people looking for work than there are jobs available for them. The new data comes after President Trump fired the country's labor stats chief over weak job numbers. News Nation's Alicia Nieves is live on Wall Street for us this morning. Alicia, how concerned should we be about the state of the job market right now?
Hey, good morning, Marky. We don't want to be an alarmist of any kind, but I think we have been covering economic data for the last couple of months. There have been some positive signs, and now we're starting to see a tipping point, at the very least, a shift happening in this data. And it's important to kind of get a full understanding, kind of a clearer picture. We're actually going to get that this week from the labor market, and we already started to get some of it. Yesterday, we got the JOLTS report. Today, we're going to get some jobless claims numbers. And then later on, tomorrow, we're going to get the big important jobs report. So far from the JOLTS report, we're seeing further signs of the labor market that is cooling down. For the first time since 2021, there are actually more people looking for jobs than there are actual vacancies. The JOLTS report showing that the jobs opening, which is about vacancies, was 7.18 million vacancies for July. The last employment report showed 7.2 million people are out of work. Now, this report also showed and highlighted that there was an uptick in layoffs. The pace of hiring, that is slowing down, indicating that hiring managers, they're not rushing to fill those vacancies. A few people, are job hopping, choosing instead of hot job hopping, they're choosing instead to stay put amid the kind of uncertainty with the labor markets. A lot of companies just want to see how Trump's policies on trade and immigration, how those are panning out. What is really interesting, though, with the data, while it is starting to cause concern for some economists, even some in the White House, you've got and the Fed as well, Wall Street is actually optimistic about this. So let me break this down, because bad labor news is actually good news for those who want a rate cut, since rate cuts are a tool the Fed typically uses to heat up a cooling down labor market and get us back to the 4%. We're closer to 4.2 right now. But particularly with this data, JOLTS is showing that with more people being unemployed than there are job openings, that's actually going to help curb inflation, because inflation ticked up in 2021 because you had so many more people able to bounce around, get higher wages, and could afford the inflationary pressures. So in terms of probability for a rate cut, because we focus on that a lot, it affects a lot of people's mortgages, ability to borrow, if you're in the market for a new car or even credit cards. That has actually ticked up since the JOLTS report dropped to about 95% probability from 92% probability. When we get the jobs claims out later on today, that could reinforce and increase probabilities. And certainly tomorrow, depending on what we get from the overall jobs report, we can see chances potentially, if we get a rough jobs report, increase to about a 0.5% rate cut. Right now, we're baking in about a 0.25%, Marky.
We'll see what the Fed decides later on this month as it pertains to rates. Alicia Nieves, live on Wall Street. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based.
Okay. So what do you guys think about that? Um, I think that we're going to have a lot of people that are going to stop paying bills, um, unnecessary bills. I think we're going to have a lot of people that are going to say, I'm not paying those credit cards. I'm not paying whatever is not an essential bill. I think a lot of, because times are fickle right now, and a lot of people are really just walking away from stuff. I've heard different scenarios where people are just packing up and walking away. I'm talking about for mortgages, rents, whatever the case may be. If they can't afford it, or if it's an option between food and this, then it's food. I'm not about to starve, just for the shenanigans of it all. It's just not something that I would like to do. So, I also, because like I said, I'm not going to keep you here, but I just wanted to bring awareness to some of the situations that I have seen that they really aren't talked about. They're not talked about enough. And this is going to affect what it has been affecting people. I was watching, let me tell you something. I was scrolling on my phone, and I seen a conversation. Well, it was a meeting. It was a lot of farmers, and I think they were either Arkansas or Wisconsin or something like that. Either anyway, a lot of farmers, you know what I mean? And one of the ladies she mentioned that she knew 5 people who committed suicide. No, she knew 5 people that had left on their own because they just, because everything that's going on, and it's just such a sad situation. I really feel bad. I really do. I'm not like rich, but I'm not poor, and I understand that the target is the middle. You get what I mean? If it is a target, I don't know. That's what people speculate. So I do want to show another video that is just talking about where we are with our market.
Stunning economic news today. The U.S. added just 22,000 jobs in August, and the unemployment rate ticked up to 4.3%. The number is well below the 75,000 expected and confirms the labor market is slowing down. The White House seemingly unfazed.
President Trump knows that we're super optimistic about the future of the jobs numbers because we're seeing a massive blowout in capital spending and new factory construction.
But the wholesale trade and manufacturing industries both saw job losses last month. Some analysts say the numbers point to growing concerns that President Trump's policies are forcing businesses to pull back on hiring.
The result of policies put in place by the Trump administration, which include the tariffs, immigration policy, government job cuts by DOGE.
President Trump hosting tech industry leaders at the White House last night, predicting long-term success.
In a year from now, when these monstrous, huge, beautiful places, they're palaces of genius, and when they start opening up, you're seeing, I think you'll see job numbers that are going to be absolutely incredible.
I remember they had a joke where they was like, but no, I'm not gonna say the joke because I'm just too new and I don't want to get canceled immediately. Like I just came on here, but it was a joke about how like the first con man met the first fool, and that's how religion was born. But I don't know. It was just a joke. It was just a joke, and he's just selling this like he's. I saw something where he was saying like people won't see the beautifulness of everything until 20 to after the midterm to 2027 or something like that. And, hey, it is what it is. You have to. You just. I just don't understand how some people can remain um willing to not see reality, right? I think that at some point in time, you have to, just like the Supreme Court lady, she said that, you have to put aside your values for the overall good, right? And that's one thing that's not really going on. It just seems that everyone is really out for themselves, and that's not cool at all. I mean, I don't know, man. I just I just don't understand where we went wrong at. At one point, I mean, I've always lived, well, I've lived out of this country a few times, for extended periods of times, but I just don't understand where we went wrong as a country. Like, I don't understand. Can somebody tell me where did we go wrong as a country? Because I just don't understand. Um, you know what I mean? I think that we, um, at one point we were going towards something good, and then we just kind of took a turn, I guess. I don't know. We got the class struggle, where society is just divided into the different classes that have conflicting interests, and I get it. The rich owners control the production, while, the workers, we selling it. So it's always a tug and pull. Then we have capitalism involved, and, I think capitalism, it does take advantage of workers because the owners take most of the profit, while the wages just don't really reflect what's really going on. I mean, but historically speaking, we've shaped this economy in these conditions. You know what I'm saying? These aren't just ideas; these are things that we've put in. Not we, but people have placed. Um, Yeah, we just need changes in how goods are produced, and that's through policies and laws and ultimately the culture, because we are the people. So you create these policies and these laws, and I mean, I do believe that eventually, the working class, just like in certain areas of Africa, like Burkina Faso, um, Mali, Nigeria. They do rise and they do overthrow. How long that lasts, we don't know. I hope that everything goes well in Burkina Faso, but we know that every day is a target. Every day is something going on. And I just I just see that, I think that we just need to focus on what we got going on, and I think we're getting way past where we need to be at. So, anyway, I went on this long little tirade, so I digress. So let me get into this, right? So let me show you this video of what I think what we need to be facing, what we need to be looking at. Well, we can't do anything about it but embrace it, but it is what it is. Here you go.
Members of the BRICS alliance have criticized U.S. tariffs, saying they threaten global trade. The bloc of developing nations is meeting in Brazil for a two-day summit, but the leaders of China and Russia, two of the bloc's most influential members, are absent. The BRICS nations comprise just over half the world's population and 40% of global economic output. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to add 10% tariffs on any country supporting what he called the BRICS anti-American policies. Well, let's talk more about this with Sanusha Naidu. She's
So I would say just go over to that site. I do not remember the name. I hope y'all looked at it. But I would say just go over there and take a listen. Yeah, I mean, it was a good interview, but it was kind of long, and we ain't here for all that. But ultimately, the people are coming together. They're doing what they feel they need to do for their society, which you can't even knock it. The U.S. has always did that for their people. So I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, drop your thoughts we could argue. We could squabble in the comments if you would like. But yeah, you could drop your comments if you want. Please, nothing. Let's be respectful in comments. I would never disrespect. I mean, you have your opinion, so you got the right to have your opinion. Have it, enjoy it, love it. I do want to show another video about what will happen if the dollar collapsed. And so this is something that's important because I was always taught to keep cash in the bank and keep cash handy, right? Because you never know, an emergency might happen. You might need to, get ghosts, and you just need to have some money on you. So yeah, take a look at this and drop your thoughts on it.
Written by Paul Krugman, The New York Times, the U.S. dollar. It's the bedrock of the global economy, a symbol of American might. But what if this mighty currency were to collapse? While it might seem unthinkable, the potential consequences are too enormous to ignore. A dollar collapse would send shockwaves across the world, impacting everything from global trade to the price of bread at your local store. The dollar's dominance isn't a given. It's built on trust in the U.S. economy and its ability to pay its debts. If that trust erodes, the consequences could be catastrophic. Imagine a world where the dollar is no longer the world's reserve currency. Imagine hyperinflation, economic turmoil, and geopolitical instability on a scale never seen before. While it's impossible to predict the exact fallout, exploring the potential scenarios is crucial. Understanding the risks allows us to safeguard against them and prepare for a future where the global financial order may look drastically different. The stakes are high, and the time to consider the what-ifs is now. The immediate impact of a dollar collapse on the U.S. economy would be nothing short of catastrophic. Hyperinflation would quickly set in, as the price of imported goods skyrockets. Everyday necessities like food, gas, and clothing would become unaffordable for many. Savings accounts, once a source of security, would be rendered worthless, decimated by runaway inflation. The stock market would plunge into a tailspin as investors panic. Businesses would struggle to operate as the cost of production soars, leading to mass layoffs and widespread unemployment. The government would face immense challenges, as its ability to provide social services and manage the crisis would be severely hampered by a devalued currency. The social fabric of the nation would be strained to its breaking point. Riots and civil unrest would likely erupt as people struggle to survive in an economy in freefall. Trust in institutions would plummet as the government grapples with an unprecedented crisis. The collapse of the dollar wouldn't be contained within U.S. borders. It would trigger a global economic earthquake, sending tremors across the world. International trade, heavily reliant on the dollar, would grind to a halt. Countries holding vast reserves of U.S. dollars would see their wealth evaporate overnight. This sudden loss of wealth would have a domino effect, pushing many economies into recession or even depression. Emerging markets already vulnerable would be hit particularly hard. Their currencies would likely collapse, exacerbating poverty and social unrest. The global financial system, built on a foundation of dollar-denominated debt, would teeter on the brink. For everyday Americans, the collapse of the dollar would mean a fundamental shift in how they live, work, and interact with the world. The value of their wages would plummet, making it difficult to afford even basic necessities. Many would be forced to take on multiple jobs just to make ends meet. Bartering and local currencies could emerge as people seek alternative ways to trade goods and services. The American dream, once characterized by upward mobility and prosperity, would feel like a distant memory. The social safety net, already strained, would be overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the crisis.
Let me tell y'all something. It is not a game out here. Look, it is not a game. And I don't know what to tell you. You know, the dollar dropping and because listen, stuff is already high anyway. Have you been to the grocery store? Well, I know, if you my target audience, you done been to the grocery store enough. You know what the prices are, and you're sick of it. Cause I'm sick of it too. I can go back and look at my Amazon cart or like my Walmart cart or even my HEB cart. Cause listen, I am a get it delivered girl. I do that. It's not like that's a convenience that I enjoy, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I go to the meat markets sometimes and go and pick out like my meats and stuff. Like I do like my every once a week, every other 2 weeks or whatever, like meat run. But like for certain stuff, I get it ordered. Yes, 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 I do. It was so hard when I had to cancel my Amazon and my Walmart subscription. Remember when we was boycotting them? I don't remember right, because remember me in the past, because yes, I turned them back. I had to turn them back on. Girl, listen. But if we do go back to boycotting them, then I'm a boycott them again, because just to show them that I don't need them all the time. But anyway, let me show you guys something else. Oh, that was so loud. Look, I got sound effects and everything. I just don't even be using. Watch this, girl. Scared you, didn't it? So let me show you this about. I got like 2 or 3 more videos I might show y'all, and then I'm gonna let y'all go because it's Sunday, and I just said, you know what? I'm about to start my little YouTube and my little Twitch, and I'm gonna be posting videos, and somebody might stumble upon this and be like, I like her. And then they might subscribe or at least come back, at least comment or something, girl. You could comment, right? You could say, hey, I like that video. I ain't gonna subscribe though. I might come back at you in the comments, might even stalk you. But yeah. I just kidding, I ain't gonna stalk you, girl. But I might do a little tongue lashing. Okay, so don't be coming in my comments all that craziness. Nah. Anyway, let me show you guys. I was watching this other little clip, and this black guy, and I'm black, so I can say he's black. I'm black, and yeah, he was just talking about like the no value of a dollar, and I get it, and I just want to make sure and see if you guys get it. And like I said, I always comment, but please like and subscribe. Thank you.
BRICS is a good thing. The American dollar. You come to me, you want to buy gold, and then you give me papers in exchange for gold. And then you call that business. No, it must be value for value. So you want to come and buy stuff here, it's fine. How much do you want? It's for 60 million or 60 billion. It's good. I must go to New York and get value for what you have bought for me here. That means I can get land in America. I can get an industry in America. I can buy a company in America. I can buy stocks in America, so that the value of which you have taken away is not replaced by a bunch of frivolous photocopied pieces of paper. And right now the economy is running on the false idea of Nixon, who removed the American dollar from being gold-based to being paper-based. So Americans don't need any backup for their economy. Or they're going to go to a photocopy machine and photocopy more papers.
Well, I mean, okay, because I ain't to take no lie. But I mean, what do y'all think? Do you think that do you think that the American economy could collapse? Do you care if the American economy collapse? Do you even know what the American economy is? sometimes you just gotta ask some questions, girl, because you never know. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I thought that was pretty interesting, and let me see. Do I want to? Oh, yeah. Let me show y'all this video about the bricks again. I ain't gonna look. I can't even tell y'all no lie. I am intrigued with the whole bricks thing because, okay, listen. If you are a millennial, right? An older millennial, I'm talking about like 83. What is it like? I think millennials started 82 to like 82 to 92. So if you're like in that age frame, and even if like the late um generation before, which is the X, which are like the 80, 81, like we got to experience such an amazing childhood and life, right? Because it was still dangerous out there. It was still dangerous. People still, all the crazy stuff that's going on now was still going on then. It's just, everything is just more visible now because of the videos and the cameras and the internet. But the stuff's been going on. And just think about it. Like, this whole country at some point had a whole bunch of slaves. So just imagine if the internet, if there were phones back then. You get what I'm saying? So, what we're seeing now ain't, I digress. But my point is, um, let me show y'all this here video real quick.
The US dollar is facing a backlash. The forefront of this is BRICS. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now, Russia thinks that BRICS should do more, so it has floated the idea of a common currency. Reports say they're working on a proposal which is likely to be taken up in August. That's when the BRICS summit will be held in South Africa. How will this happen? Some of this is already happening, like the settlement of trade in national currencies. India has an agreement with Russia. It's called the Rupee-Ruble Trade Mechanism, but Russia has more expectations from India. It is banking on India for more support. And Russia has similar hopes from China, and it's not going to be easy. Will China, that wants the yuan to replace the US dollar, agree to a BRICS currency? And would India want economic integration with China, especially given the challenges at the border? These conflicting priorities are the biggest roadblocks before the BRICS today.
Now, what I will say is that this video is, I think it's like 2 years old. I think it was like 2 years ago, because this was when they were meeting in South Africa. So this was like 2 years ago. But yeah, as you know now, the BRICS has kicked off their thing. And so their goal is to just move around America. They don't feel like dealing with the rules and regulations and the sanctions and threats and the bullying and all kinds of stuff. So, I guess it is what it is. I guess at some point in time, everybody got to grow up and say, I'm not about to just be a punching bag forever, because that's just not how it's going to go. You know what I mean? And as an American, isn't it what we are taught is to not be, don't let people take advantage of you. So, okay, so yeah. What if the US dollar stops being? You know what? Let's take a look at this and see what they say.
What if the US dollar stops being the global currency? Couldn't be that big of a deal, right? No, it is a huge deal. Right now, the US dollar is what most of the world uses for trade. People trust the US dollar. It is stable, and the US uses it to pay its very high debts. It has been this way for a very long time, and it has been one reason why the United States has kind of remained the epicenter for economic power around the world. But that's kind of changing. There's this group of big countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're all rising countries, and they're kind of like, why are we obeying the US dollar? Why don't we create our own currency? These countries represent a huge amount of global trade, so if they decided to make their own currency, other countries might start using it, which would diminish the power of the US dollar and thus the power of the United States. This is just one of many ways we've been looking into that the US-led global order is starting to have some competition, and we're moving into a new Cold War.
Okay. So yeah, take with that what you will. I just find it fascinating, um, you know, to just to live and see this, you know. At one point I was like, why does this have to happen in my lifetime? Like, ugh, how selfish of the world, right? And then another part I was like, you know what? You know, if if that's what needs to happen for people to have their rights, their human rights, then it is what it is. Like, you know, nothing lasts forever, especially if you're not planting the right seeds. You know what I'm saying? And so, you can't build your home on um I don't know what I can say that's not uh restrictable on these apps, but you know, the history of America, the foundation of how America was built. You can't build your house in that type of manner and then expect nothing but good to come from it. The soil is dirty. The soil not dirty, but the soil is the soil will produce trees that have strange fruit. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing but it's no good that's gonna come from that from what was done. So I don't know if I want to leave it at that or do I want to. Let me tell y'all something. I do want to say this again. I want to show this video one more time because I was just so surprised. But y'all made these people come out. These people literally had to come out in the dress, y'all. That's a shame.
Alicia Keys' husband, Swizz Beatz, addresses divorce rumors. The music producer shut down rumors that his and the singer's relationship was heading for divorce after 15 years of marriage. Swizz wrote in the comments of the Shade Room's September 1st Instagram repost of him and Alicia dancing. Everybody knew we was divorced but us. We found out on our 15-year anniversary vacation. The rapper, who has been married to Alicia since 2010, added, "People rather believe fake gossip instead of the truth because they're miserable. We have nothing to do with that. Bless up." Indeed, earlier this summer, Swizz and Alicia, who share children Egypt and Genesis, marked their marriage milestone with sweet tributes. Alicia wrote alongside a July 31st Instagram carousel featuring a picture of her and her husband throughout their relationship, 15 years of magic, and we're just getting started. For his part, Swizz celebrated his and his wife's anniversary with pictures from their trip to Tokyo. He captioned the July 31st Instagram post, "Positive vibes only, blessings and endless love. We wish you endless love and happiness. The Dean's 15th. Alicia celebrated in the comments, writing, "I adore you beyond words, my king. We are more connected than ever, forevermore."
Now y'all know y'all need to stop. Y'all know y'all need to stop. Y'all know y'all need to stop. Now that man had to come out and publicly say him and his wife they not divorcing. Y'all need to stop. Damn shame. It's a damn shame. It really is. It's a damn shame. But it is what it is. And so, with that being said, if I had, like people on here, I probably would ask, if you wanted to come up and talk about something or voice your opinion or tell me how you ain't like what I said or what I didn't say. Because I didn't really say too much. You know what I mean? I just wanted to show y'all something that I thought was important for people to take a look at. I normally would have wrote out some type of um plan for the day as far as like how I wanted to do it as far as with whatever, right? But I didn't. It's Sunday, it's raining. I was just laying down and I was like, you know what? I started seeing all this different stuff about like the BRICS, and it's like they don't talk about BRICS enough. They don't talk about that on the news or anything like that. And that's a real thing. And it's moving forward and it's moving forward fast. And people need to, if nothing else, just hear about it. Hold on 1 second while my dog. Goddamn dog. I tell you it's raining out here, so she heard some thunder. And I'm not about to put the damn dog jacket on. You know that little thing that snuggle? I ain't got time to put that on them. It's just too much. I just tell her go lay in her bed. But anyway, um, so yeah, that's really all that I wanted to see or talk about really. I was looking at other stuff, but nothing that really just made me want to just. I think I might come back on later on. I think I'm gonna try to come on like 3 times, not 3 times, but just as often as I can, because I do have a job. Um, and just like upload stuff. Like I think I want to upload some couple reviews on some projects that I saw that I really like. Not musical, because I'm not like that type of person. I don't know how to sing, so I'm not about to tell somebody who can sing what's wrong with song. So, but um, yeah, just check me out. I'm not gonna keep you long, sweetie. So you should have been washed the dishes and did all you needed to do and hear about bricks, and hopefully you kind of trying to either thought about leaving the country, making sure your passports are up to date, or go and make sure you get your passports. Check out countries that are friendly to your situation, because only you know your situation. So make sure that you find and look for that. Pick up some Spanish translation or Spanish learning apps on your phone where you can play with that every day for hours. So at least just get accustomed to basic words. Because if you do need to leave, you do want to have some type of being able to ask somebody how to go to the bathroom. Just simple, with baño. Baño? Yeah, baño. So you do want to make sure that you can just get just simple things, get a bus ticket or whatever the case. So yeah. Um let's see here. I've been on about 53 minutes. 53 minutes. Oh yeah, the first 8 minutes I wasn't saying nothing. I had the music playing. But yes, that's all that I have. I'm rambling now. So thank you, and I will be